It all started on a Thursday, the 15th of January, 2015, when I walked into my mother's bedroom and I said to her, "Mommy, I've finished writing my book." She was a little bit sleepy from a night's sleep and she replied to me, "Stacey, your computer teacher will be very proud." She got my teacher's name wrong, but that's out of context. After what felt like forever, I finally got her to follow me back to my bedroom. This was the beginning of a great journey. This was the year the world would find out that I had written my first book at the age of 7 without my parents' knowledge. Smelly Cats went on to be approved by the Department of Basic Education in South Africa as suitable learning material for early childhood development through to primary school. It won its first award for the best early childhood development publication of the year 2016, prize money donated by UNICEF. Along with my first book being published, I went into public and media speaking. I've spoken at various media institutions, speaking on what my host would like me to speak on, but also touching on topics I think are very, very important. Through doing all these things, I've turned myself into an international multiple award-winning author of 5 chapter books, a philanthropist, a mentor, an activist, and a television talk show host. However, my journey hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows. Yes, I've been honored to share the stage with amazing people, and I went on to win my first international and presidential award in the early months of 2019. But the publishing process was absolute hell for my parents, because not a single publisher on planet Earth was willing to believe that a 7-year-old would write a book. Rejection after rejection, not a publisher accepting my manuscript. Until one day, my mother received a call from a big publishing house in the UK. They would like to publish my book. Along with some extra costs, I had to go through a 1-year-long free writing course. My mother hated and despised the idea of me having to go through a course. She thought that since I wrote so naturally, putting me through the course would sort of absorb and deteriorate my natural writing ability. Without consulting my father, she politely turned them down. But now the problem was we had no publisher. Luckily, and thank God, that day, a friend of my mother's was sitting in the car who had experience with self-publishing. He opted that he would help my parents through my publishing journey to get me self-published. After weeks of hard work, my mother and my father opened a publishing division called Profounder Publishing, who have published my books and 20 other books. Before attending to me, let's attend to my impact. I have the Stacey Foundation, which is a foundation which I founded when I was 9 years old for the purpose of educating children, disadvantaged children. I've interviewed child philanthropists like myself, musicians, and even the interviewer under my online TV channel, CTV SA. The purpose of the channel is to reach those children who I am unable to see face to face. I have the African Book a Child campaign, which is a campaign where we encourage African authors or people who have written books on Africa to kindly donate their books to the foundation, in which we go out and we distribute them to learning centers and to libraries. One of the biggest projects we run under the foundation, and our most popular, would be the African Children of the Year Awards. This award ceremony is there to empower and encourage the African child who are doing great things in their community, targeting children from 7 to 13, because that is currently my age range. That is what we do to inspire these children, giving them a platform to where they feel appreciated so that they can continue. Last but not least, my favorite project under the Stacey Foundation would be the Safety and Security Campaign for Children by a Child, which we did together with the MEC of Community Safety in South Africa. The aim of this project was to educate children on how to handle themselves in minor or major situations where their safety is in jeopardy. Funnily enough, this project, or this campaign, inspired the topic for my 5th book, Where is Tammy?, which tackles child kidnapping and child abduction. So this question might have crossed your mind. Well, Stacey, what is living your dream to you? As a child, many expect me to be focused on what I want to do or be in the future. But I learn as I grow. Holding on to the good things in society and letting go of the wrong ones, they expect me to be focused on school, graduating from school, going to university or getting my first job, getting a husband, and potentially mending a family. But I want to focus on growing up. Not that any of these things are wrong, but live in the now and live in your present. To an ordinary person, living your dream is then yet again something one only dreams about, because we live so distant and so out of touch from our goals that they soon become dreams. These dreams soon turn into a fantasy. Not all dreams are unrealistic. Unless, of course, you're dreaming about aliens and sea monsters, then we need to focus our attention on something more real. Yes, writing and living a dream I never truly had because I didn't understand what a dream was represents who I am as Stacey Frew. I see a lot of parents and even their environment giving children social scripts. Many parents expect their children to be doctors, business people, engineers, and even lawyers. But I have a question. Before you live that dream, who exactly have you been? Do you desire to be a doctor at 20 years old when you can be a child at 10, 11, or even 12? I would like us to forget about these social scripts and just live. You heard me, just live. My parents teach me that learning is living, and that living is learning. They have given my 3 siblings and I the opportunity to go ahead and explore different creative fields. Take my older brother Shannon, for example. When Shannon was younger, he explored with sports. He did swimming, cricket, and soccer, and he was exceptionally well at all those things, going on to win numerous awards at school. But as he got older, he slowly shifted into music. He played the drums for a good 2 years and quickly transitioned into rap music. So that is currently what he's vibing with now. Take me. While my brother was doing sports, I would go join him. Now, this was a great experience for about 3 days. Scrap music, I went on to gymnastics. Gymnastics was an amazing experience, which I shared with my friends. But then again, I wanted to do ballet. Scrap gym, I moved on to ballet. In ballet, I just fell in love with the movement and how it moved to the classical music. Around the same time I started doing ballet, I also started doing guitar. Both these things factored to help me into this creative, confident individual today. To all the parents listening, or to the soon-to-be parents, just give your children this creative platform where they can explore. As I grow, and as I've grown, I've had so many dreams. At one point, I wanted to be a fashionista and even a chicken. Yes, you heard me. I wanted to be a chicken. I don't know how that came about, but young Stacey was very creative. But as I grew older, these dreams started to fail. But as failure is such a common and natural human thing, we cannot let one failure bring us down. Let's use one of the biggest rejections my family faced through the process of publishing my book, which is by the editor of a big Sunday Times newspaper, who refused to publish my article because she figured out that my parents were my publishers. After a long process of interviewing and taking pictures, they wouldn't put it on the paper. My mother went on to cry for days because she just couldn't see why the world wouldn't accept that children are moving on to do great things and that children are becoming more independent. However, my mother did not let this stop us. We continued to grow and did even greater, bigger things. That is just an example of how we should not let failure bring us down to the low. Dreams. If you look at the definition of a dream, you'll find out that it somehow relates to being a fantasy. However, that is untrue. Not all dreams are unrealistic. Most dreams are natural interpretation of what is going on in our everyday life. But I still think that the term goals would be more appropriate in this instance. I may say that I've reached my ultimate goal, but what ultimate goal is there other than death? Ever since publishing my first book, I've opened myself up to criticism. I used to think that I was absolutely perfect and refused to think that I could do any wrong. But then I realized that we absolutely need the people around us and we need the support system around us for us to grow as individuals. When you do something so great and so powerful, you tend to put a burden on others. Once this person has your burden, they feel inspired and motivated to go on and mentor you. Now, this may not be strict mentorship. This may be little things like emotional support and constant reassurance. The ability to dream is amazing. The ability to set persistent goals in life is perfect. But the ability to carry out these actions takes full determination. My father teaches me that this moment is more important than yesterday and tomorrow. Thank you.